Okay, folks, David Halpert of Mastery Consulting. Got a great question from participant, accountability program participant Noel Nazareno. It was such a good question. I already answered it on a conference call, but since only about 75 of you were on the call and we've got nearly 300 of you at present, I'd like to share with you this same question and answer by video. The question he asked was, what should my response rate be to texting and emailing? I heard something about 6% and 2%, and what should it be? So I know you've heard some of this on a previous video, but let's do a kind of a recap here. Texting has a significantly higher response rate than email, so you must demand and command a higher response to texting. Incidentally, real quick recap, the 6 database marketing tactics in order of power. Jot this one down if you're taking notes. If you're not taking notes, jot this one down anyway. It's that important. Number 1, face-to-face appointments. There's nothing better. It's the bread and butter of building a great business. Numbers 2 through 6 are actually with the intention of getting to number 1, the appointment. Number 2 is texting. Incidentally, number 3 is Facebook Messenger, which you're going to have same targets for Facebook Messenger as you do for texting. A little bit of a drop off to number 4, phone calls. Another drop off to number 5, handwritten notes. And then the final drop off to number 6, email. Email is the lowest database tactic, lowest performing database tactic, which shows me that most people in America don't know how to run a business because they use email more than any of the other tactics. Strange, huh? So texting and Facebook Messenger must have a better response rate than email. So what are those numbers? For texting and Facebook Messenger, your target numbers are 6% and 2%. 6% response rate, which means at least 6 out of 100 people you send a message to by text or Facebook Messenger reply in any which way, whether they say, heck yeah, or please, or maybe, or no, or take me off your list. Doesn't matter. At least 6 out of 100 must reply. And, maybe more importantly, 2% strong yes rate. For every 100 messages you send, you want 2 people who are like, yeah, I'm interested in that. That's your magic number for both texting and Facebook Messenger. So how do you do that? Well, as many of you have heard me say before, and I'm going to repeat this, you want to send 100 messages out to test anything. If your database is truly small, send out only 50. But if you're sending out 100, you want at least 6 replies of any kind and at least 2 strong yeses, like, yeah, I'd like to meet with you to talk about, your product or your product offering, or catch up with you, that kind of thing. Okay? Now, if you get the 6% and the 2%, what do? You have a marketing message that can be used over and over again. Keep using it. Do another 100, and then do another 100, and then do another 100, which is why you want to have a large database. FYI, our databases are so large now that it takes us almost 80 business days of sending 200-300 messages a day to get through all of our databases. Crazy, huh? So what do we do 4 or 5 months later, or whatever it is, 3 months later, when we're done going through it? And the answer is, if we're still getting the high response rate, the 6%, 2% response rate to that message, we use the same message again. We go back right to the beginning and hit the same first 100 people. You know why? Because this time around, 2 different people will say, I'm interested in hearing about your product. Okay, let's shift gears. Let's talk email marketing. Are you ready? Email marketing is different. An industry standard is 1/4% warm yes rate. 1/4%, that's 1 out of every 400. So if you send 400 messages out and get 1 strong yes, that's actually average in the marketing world. And by the way, a strong response rate is 0.5% or even 1%. So 1% would be 1 out of 100. By the way, if you have an email that gets 1 out of 100 strong yeses, that's really high for email. If you get 1 out of 200, which is 0.5% response rate, that's very good. Sounds awful, doesn't it? But that's the way it works. That's why you need to have bigger and bigger databases. For our own accountability program, you guys can relate. We send out a 25-word message about, would you like some information about my blah, 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 right? And incidentally, we tested it on email, sent out 500 messages and got 0 yeses and only 1 or 2 responses. So we stopped doing email immediately after that. We waste no time. If something doesn't work in marketing, we ditch it. Now, what if you have a marketing channel that's working and getting you the results you desire, right? For every 400 emails, you're getting more than 1 positive yes response, right? So you keep using it. Keep using it. But what if you send out a batch and you don't get the response? Well, maybe you want to try it one more time. And if you send out another batch and don't get a response, time to throw it out and change the marketing message. Hope this helped. with the question of what should your texting and email response rates be. My question for you today is, are you building a database and adding names to it a couple a day so that you will have more people to message as you go forward? Hope this is helpful, folks.